the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, August 9th. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From the birthplace of the tomato, I'm TJ Huddleston from Reynoldsburg, Ohio.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Are we the birthplace of anything? No, I don't think so. I'm Gavin Campbell.
Oh my God. All right. So welcome to the HomeTech Podcast. All about, I was going to say home technology. I guess it's about tomatoes now.
Well, it's the Tomato Festival in Reynoldsburg, Ohio this week. So
that comes before the Pawpaw Festival.
That's right. It's the birthplace of the mainstream, whatever, mass-produced tomato, I guess. So it's basically a fair. If you've ever been to a fair, you've been to a tomato festival. So
tomatoes been all over. I wouldn't have equated them with Ohio. I guess you mean like the commercial, like the farm-grown tomato thing. Okay,
yeah.
Not like tomatoes in general, but like, kind of what everybody knows about now, I guess. I don't know. I've never done any research on it. I'm just taking the city's word for it. You know what I mean?
I think they're lying to you.
The government never lies to you. So I just choose to believe and go about my day.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT.
Yeah. Thomas Jefferson ate tomatoes in Paris and sent some seeds back to America. And then, obviously, they, I guess, William Salmon reported seeing them in what is today South Carolina. So if that's there's no mention of Ohio at all on the tomato page here, but
yeah, same with ChatGPT. It did not mention Ohio at all. You got South America all in there.
All right, so here's the history from the City of Reynoldsburg website. Reynoldsburg is known as the birthplace of the tomato. The tomato was born, quote unquote, born in Reynoldsburg in the 19th century with the help of local favorite son Alexander W. Livingston. Livingston developed the Paragon tomato, billed as the first ever tomato bred for commercial use. So we wouldn't have ketchup if it wasn't for this guy.
Oh, all right.
I mean, we wouldn't,
That's, you know what? I give my respect then.
Yeah.
I love my ketchup.
As long as you don't put it on hot dogs, we can agree.
Wait a minute. What do you put on hot dogs?
Mustard.
Mayonnaise.
Come on. Mayonnaise. Stop.
And ketchup.
Stop. No.
Seriously?
Yeah, no ketchup.
I bet you hate pineapple on pizza too.
Yeah, stop. Don't do that. Why you gotta ruin pizza like that?
God.
Pizza's not supposed to be tropical.
I'm getting hungry now. Let's talk tech.
I'm still reading about this Livingston tomato.
No, it's a Paragon tomato. Jeez.
Yes, the Paragon tomato. They introduced in 1870, the beginning of the great tomato cultural enterprise of the country. There you go. So it also does not mention Ohio. So, oh well.
No, that's
there we
fine.
go. Maybe somebody can get in here and edit the.
Wouldn't be the first time Ohio doesn't get the correct credit. Birthplace of aviation too, but South Carolina takes that from us.
It does get footnote number 28 on the tomato page, the City of Reynoldsburg, about Reynoldsburg page. So there you go.
There you go.
You've been mentioned.
You can buy the seeds, the Livingston's Paragon tomato, $2.95 for a bunch of seeds. I'm gonna have to grow those next year.
And ChatGPT gives Ohio credit for the birthplace of aviation. So there you go.
That's good. We do own that.
Don't ask Brazilians anything. It'll be upset.
Did they discover aviation?
I think they flew first.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first historic flight was North Carolina.
Well, yeah, it was in North Carolina, but it was they were from Ohio. So,
but actually, it was in Brazil somewhere, right? I think it was Brazil. Had them beat. I don't know. Communication didn't work back then.
Yeah.
Nobody fact check us, please. Nobody.
Ask Chad. Ask ChatGPT. Who flew first, Brazil or North Carolina?
Yeah, well, obviously, ChatGPT knows everything. Just never wrong.
Anyway.
Yeah, there you go. Birthplace of the tomato. We celebrate it every year by throwing a fair. It's a fair. But it's free, so you can just go there whenever you want. There's concerts. That band, what was it? 212 Degrees or something like that. They made that song Peaches and Cream.
Oh, yeah.
In 2001.
112.
112, that's what it is. I'm a little dyslexic sometimes. They are performing at the fair. So
wow.
We get some big names in our area.
They're probably 112 years old right now.
Possibly.
Yeah. But when you listen to the lyrics of their song, Peaches and Cream, it has a whole new meaning at this stage of life.
Yeah. That song came out in 2001. If that makes you feel old.
Oh.
It's like Windows ME time.
There you go. Speaking of, not tomatoes or festivals, I guess. Have you guys been watching any of the Olympics?
Oh, yeah. A lot of them. Yeah.
I found that I've been using the Peacock app, I guess, and found that that's actually pretty good this year. Like last year was pretty horrible, but they have the coverage seems to be pretty good with like what you can watch. It's also in a good time zone ish. Like you can just turn it on in the morning, have it playing all the day, and then like Peacock has this little like a gold zone type thing where it kind of like bounces back and forth between what might be exciting or whatever the announcers are on that can make it exciting. But yeah, I don't know. The technology is nice because you can get like what's it called, like a quad view set up on the screen of 4 different feeds coming in. Most of the time. It's pretty cool. I've been enjoying it.
I'll be honest, it kind of sucked up here. I've been using my neighbor's coverage. I asked him to bump up his package because he's missing a bunch of channels. I was going to do it for him, but I thought I'd be nice about it. But it's like there's certain events I wanted to see and I just couldn't find it on, you have 1,000 channels, but you can't find the one thing you want to see. But you have reruns of 80s movies like all day long, So I missed a few events just because I couldn't see them, but I still caught some good ones. All the Canadian ones, they definitely aired.
I've never really watched the Olympics because every time I watch it, right, it's always a bunch of people doing stuff that like I'll never be able to do. Like shot put, for example, I'm never going to like twirl around and throw something accurately at all. But I saw something this year that I've never heard of. It's called race walking, and I'm a very fast walker. I think I could do race walking, guys. You might see me in the next Olympics.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think it's like a long distance thing, right? Like they have to go forever.
I'm never going to shoot down somebody's dream, TJ.
I can't swim. I can't shot put. I can't do archery. I can't be like that one guy with a gun, and he was just amazing. Didn't even need like glasses or anything. I can race walk though.
Yeah, the Hitman Hungry sent in.
Yeah, I mean he was awesome.
Yeah, it went viral. I guess he's been around for a while and actually won some medals in previous Olympics.
He never has any specialized gear, but you see like the South Korean lady and she got like the bifocals on and everything so she can see the target super close. He's like, no, I don't need any of that.
Wow. So the race walking thing, I'm looking at pictures of race walkers, TJ.
Watch a video of it.
They're incredibly fit, though. Like I'm thinking, this might be something a I more.
What are you trying to say, Seth? What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying these people look like they could run a marathon, and I don't know.
I mean, how often do the Olympics happen? Is it every like 4 years or something?
Every 2 years, right? No, it's
4 years.
4 years, but the next 2 years will be Winter Olympics, right? So
yes.
Well, I'm not definitely not doing any Winter Olympics. I can tell you that. But I think I can get in shape in 4 years. I think it's kind of rude that you said I wouldn't, but
bad
I'll let it go for now. Yeah,
shooting down a man's
Gavin's all
dreams.
Supportive. Yeah.
Here, I will put a how to start race walking. A link to an article that says how to start race walking training.
Hey, just walk around your local mall. I thought.
No, that's for the old people. But you have less time to get in shape, those TJ, because you have to go for qualifying events too, right? So you'll have like a year to get in shape, and then you got 3 years of like qualifying events, and you actually got to win those to be able to make it so far. So
oh wow, never mind. This sounds way too hard.
You see, you can't even walk.
There's a lot to this. You have to maintain 1 foot on the ground at all times.
Yep.
Yeah, there's like you have to have your knee bent or something, and the front leg has the knee bent, or you get disqualified.
If you haven't watched the video of it, I really want you to watch a video of it because it's hilarious. Like the pictures are one thing, but like the video, you're like, oh, stop.
It's the hips. The hips are what you're like. It's like a shaky hip thing. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
I want to look for videos of them walking when they're not race walking. See if they maintain the weird walk, or if they change their life so that's how they walk all the time.
That's how I walk all the time, so I think I'd be a good fit, but I'm just not going to do it.
I wasn't walking this weekend because we had a storm come through on Sunday.
Yep.
And it turns out when it rains a whole lot, like a whole lot more than normal, it can flood. And so my neighborhood was kind of flooded. I shared some pictures in the hub of some of the things that were going on, like, oh yeah, it's flooded, blah blah blah. But like then, like I think I shared some later. It's like we're canoeing around on a canoe down our neighborhood street. Like water was high. Like it's probably about 15 feet of water in my backyard, deep, and it's probably over 100 feet wide. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was not good here. Not good for a couple of days. We were trapped for a bit, and then got out. We luckily no water in the house. I did get water in my car and water in my poor little Tempest, my little weather station. We were watching it, and the water got up to the bottom and kind of may have gone on the bottom. I don't know.
Did Clippy survive?
Clippy was way up high. Clippy
was on top of the hill.
All right, good.
Yeah, Clippy's good to go. You
just left him out the whole time though.
You
You just left him out the whole time?
Yeah, he was fine.
So you're so irresponsible.
He's wet.
Like 18 inches of water.
Just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. He's all right. He's good. He'll wake up and mow the lawn one of these days. Not anytime soon, mind you, because as soon as it rains and has been covered in all this water, the grass is like, yes, I will grow now. So the grass is just as high as anything else, and I can't mow it because it's all muddy. So fun.
Yeah, you were sending pictures, and I was like, I am not jealous of not living in Florida anymore. I can tell you that. No, thank you.
The picture of the alligator in the neighbor's yard was interesting. That's such a Florida thing.
Yeah. Yeah, just like, well, you can't really go out and play in the water, like, because it's...
You might die.
Yeah.
You can either die by alligators or brain-eating amoebas.
Right. It's like we were in North Carolina and we were playing in like one of the rivers up there, and it's like, nice and cold and rocks. You're skipping rocks and that kind of thing. And it's like, you can't do this in Florida. Like, you just, if it's a body of water, you just don't get near it. Like, because there's an alligator in there, it will eat you.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was like, are the iguanas okay?
I'm sure they're fine. They can swim.
They were up in but the trees have high winds where they've gotten blown out of trees. Was there any falling iguana warnings?
I'm sure they're fine, Gavin.
Swimming iguana website now.
Yeah, let's take a look at the iguanas. What was it? Are iguanas falling out? Yeah. Are iguanas falling.com?
Yeah.
It's all okay. We're good.
All right, we're good.
Thank God we have that website.
Yeah.
The following iguana checker says all okay. All three places: Pickering, Ontario, Rendsburg, Ohio, and Sarasota, Florida. All good there.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Yay, iguanas.
I will say, when you have an increase of water, it displaces a lot of animals around your house. Insects as well. Spiders start coming in.
Oh.
And we're getting these big giant wolf spiders come in the house. That is not fun.
That's when I burn down things.
I had one in my car while I was driving. That's the worst.
Oh, God.
And it starts crawling across the window. And these are large spiders. They're probably, about 3 inches when they're walking, width-wise. Not fun. They're pretty aggressive, too. But they don't bite. But they like to scare you. Two things. I may have lost my Tempest. It turns out it started to work. Like, it dried out after being submerged and working the entire time it was submerged. It seems to have stopped working at nighttime and then working during the day. So we suspect the battery's probably bad on it. And I contacted Tempest. I think they're going to send me a new one. It's a great company.
That's a
highly
great
recommended.
company.
Yeah, no kidding.
If a company's going to replace your flooded, device,
I mean, didn't tell him, it flooded. I did say we had a lot of rain.
Wow.
All right. It's still a good company then.
Still a great company.
If they're
hopefully they send you the
for
new one before
accessories.
this,
Yeah.
Could highly recommend it. Highly recommend them. And then Govee, I'm looking outside. I can see my Govee, the front, they're the square ones, not the round ones that I got. The square ones. There's 2 of them that don't seem to have survived. So if I'm going to go back with Govee and get those again, I would probably get those, the round kind. I'll put links to what I'm talking about in the show so it makes sense. But the square ones, I was never happy with the build quality. And there was a lot of complaints that the water did get inside. And clearly it can and does. And now there's the 2 at the end that look like it's a disco down there. They're just blinking on and off like crazy. So
as a test, I want you to contact Govee and let's see what they help you out with. Will they replace it or they just say too bad?
Well, probably too bad because one of them, well, I don't know. I'll try.
Let's see.
One of them is the one that I tested and I siliconed like the lens. So clearly that wasn't enough. To keep the water from getting inside. So we'll see what they say. Maybe they don't want them back. I don't know. It should work. And those aren't that old. But the build quality on the, I don't know what you would call them, like the Spotlight type, were way better. And those clearly held up just as good in the same weather. So that's it from the storm battered Sarasota.
Yeah, you had all the excitement this week.
Yeah, excitement. Trapped in my house. We couldn't get out. And nobody was prepared for this. Like, tropical storms come through. We don't care.
It's like, some rain. Nobody cares about rain.
Just a lot of rain. Yeah. Well, had a lot of rain. We had a lot of headlines too.
Ton of stuff.
So what do you say we jump into these HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it.
All right. End of life announcement. Google has announced that the original Chromecast launched back in 2013. It's reaching its end of life. This means the device will no longer receive software security updates and Google will cease providing technical support. The first gen Chromecast was a game changer, selling 10 million units back in 2014, making it a little bit easier for everybody to stream internet videos over to your TVs. Remember when we had dumb TVs and you had to add $35 Chromecast to them to make them smart?
Yeah.
Oh, those were the days. Over the years, Google transitioned from Chromecast technology to more complicated devices. Now they have Chromecast with Google TV, released in 2020. It runs on a full Android OS. I think they just, they have announced or pre-announced or whatever. I think on the 13th we'll learn more. They'll have that new Google TV thing that we talked about last week. But for all intents and purposes, this is the original Chromecast. The Chromecast is dead. Good night. I don't have one of these. So if anybody's got one laying around, they want to send it in for a graveyard, send it on over.
It probably still works though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Does it? It says it no longer. Oh, I guess
just no longer receive updates and stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And it's probably really slow at this point. So this is actually, I think this is one of my first streaming devices I owned, because for most of my life, I just played on the computer. Like I just watched 3 or 4 different monitors. I'd watch TV on the computer. I didn't really have a TV. And so when I got a TV, I didn't really need anything super complicated, and I got a Chromecast and I really liked it. But honestly, the Chromecast progression or update cycle is one that I think has made the most sense, because the new Google TVs keep the features of the Chromecast, but they give you a remote, and using your phone to control your TV all the time, to me, is just very annoying, and I don't want to do that. And so after a little while, the Chromecast, it was still a cool novelty device, because you could just cast your screen directly to the TV. But now I like the Google TV solution. It is twice as much, but I think it offers a better solution, and you get a remote for it. So you don't have to rely on your phone, but you can still use your phone if you want to.
Usually I'd bash Google products because they would go to the graveyard, but this one was for a decade in service. So, I gotta give them respect for that. Like a whole decade of getting, and the technology has changed so much, like from a decade ago.
Yeah.
So if you had a Chromecast, for $35, I think you said it was, you got more than enough out of it. Time to move on. Get
$3 a year. Yeah.
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 It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Usually we're chastising Google, but this time we're like, good job, Google.
Well, what Google takes away, they also give a little bit back here. Google Home is set to receive a significant upgrade with Gemini intelligence. It's going to add a few new features. Camera intelligence. Nest cameras will now be able to generate descriptive captions for video footage, providing detailed context about what the camera sees and hears. This feature supposedly will help users understand events without watching the entire video. And kind of like describing a person unloading groceries from a car would be an example of one of those descriptions. It also have natural language input for routines, so users can create complex smart home routines using natural language commands. For example, you can instruct Google Home to lock the doors and turn off the lights at bedtime, and it'll set up the routine automatically. That's pretty awesome. And then it'll have an enhanced Google Assistant. The Google Assistant will get new, more natural sounding voice, improved capabilities for playing back music, setting timers, and more. All sounds like great, actually really good enhancements that'll be coming over to Google Home users. So that actually sounds pretty compelling, actually.
Yeah, I want this. Can I get this?
Yeah.
If it can identify dogs pooping on the lawn, I'm sold.
We're back to dogs pooping. Week two.
Yeah.
Stop obsessing over pooping dogs, Gavin.
You have to go. You go and clean it all up off your lawn because people don't clean it up themselves, and see why.
What are you frolicking around in the grass? Why you got to clean it up anyway?
Well, when I walk across my lawn, I don't expect something to be there to step in.
You go outside. See, that's my solution. I just don't go outside.
Oh, okay. But yeah, if they added that to this, I might be sold,
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, turn on my sprinkler. If dog starts pooping, bam.
I want a Karen detection.
Oh, that would be a good one too.
It also says Google Assistant will maintain a conversation context and adapt your home setup over time. So it'll make some changes to your system based on how you actually use it. Yeah, custom learning.
See, this is what actual home automation is, right? Because right now we're basically just doing a bunch of inputs and outputs. Yep. But I needed to learn.
We're getting there.
I needed to just do things and just I don't want to think about it.
I think it's a start. This may be the beginning of something. We'll have to see how well it actually works. If it doesn't freak out and start doing something. Something happened to me I think yesterday. I don't know what it did. I don't know what it was. Something happened where something changed the thermostat down too far, maybe I'm going to say 76. And then people are like, oh, that's warm, but in Florida, that's too cold. And I had to like raise it back up to the 78 or whatever we keep it at. I'm not sure what did it, but it had been running there for a while, and it kind of messed up some of the things. But like, what did that? Like something went off the rails somewhere and turned the Ecobee down.
Clippy was teaching you a lesson for leaving him outside during the storm. That's what it's all. You want to experience cold weather?
Here we go.
Yep.
The robot's already attacking. We'll see. We'll see how it works. It sounds very interesting. I'm very curious to see when people actually get hands-on and start using it, how well it's going to work for people, because all that stuff sounds really, really promising and really good for home automation in general.
I like the idea of like an AI figure just like doing a lot of this stuff for me. I just hope it doesn't change my theme to something like racist, like a Nazi theme or something like that. Because AI,
or a hot dog stand.
Yeah, I definitely don't want hot dog stand. I'll tell you that. I don't know if I'd want Nazi more, but yeah, I mean, it's just AI, so you never know what's going to happen.
Hot dog stand would be great, I think.
Default hot dog stand.
And one more story here from Google. Google, this is actually, we mentioned this last week briefly. I guess we can talk about it a little more. We got more detail on it, but Google's unveiled a 4th generation Nest learning thermostat, marking the first major update in nearly a decade. Priced at $279, it features a new design, larger 2.7-inch touchscreen, enhanced AI capabilities for improved heating and cooling efficiency, and the thermostat supports smart home standard Matter, along with native integration with Apple Home. Also has a new presence detection radar sensor built into it, and a new Nest temperature sensor, 2nd gen, to monitor temperatures in multiple rooms. Other than that, mostly just a standard Google Nest thermostat, but the looks of it, actually, I saw a picture of it, actually looks pretty good. Like, a little floats off the wall a little bit. I think they did a pretty good job on this one.
This is definitely the nicest looking thermostat out now. I usually prefer the Ecobee thermostat because it just, I don't know, it looks the nicest in my opinion. But this one, I really like it. I think if it had Thread, I would honestly buy it. But it does not have Thread. It has Matter.
It's got Matter.
And I don't care about Matter over Wi-Fi, so.
Oh, you're going to get Matter, yeah.
Yeah, it does Matter. Thread's just a communication protocol.
But I don't want Wi-Fi, Gavin.
Yeah. You're going to get Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I don't want it. But this is a really nice thermostat. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with the looks of it. I hope to hear positive things about it.
It is getting a lot of hype. I'm an Ecobee guy, right? I like them, and the main reason why I like them is the API. I know Seth can appreciate good APIs. Ecobee had a pretty good one, so it allows you. It doesn't do push.
Their API was okay. The servers that ran the APIs were not good.
Yeah. That's the only thing, but I like the fact that you can pretty much integrate it with anything, and that's why I kind of stuck with it. The only thing about Google too, this is the first major update since I guess 2015 or so. So where Ecobee has released many different models in that time frame, right? So I mean, you don't replace your thermostat that often though. So I mean, I don't think that's a big thing for people.
No.
One thing I wish these guys would come out with is and I know this is probably not in their way of doing it. Like, there needs to be more thermostats with like wired remote temperature sensors. That'd be nice to have.
Wired remote or just remote? Wired
remote temperature sensors.
Okay.
Yes. Way better than, wire is better than whatever.
It's battery powered temperature sensors.
Wireless,
yeah.
It's 2024, Seth. Come on.
So those go dead. You don't have to worry about it. You put a wired temperature sensor in, and then you don't have any wall clutter anymore.
So. I find a lot of people though, like, everyone gets the Ecobee because, the hype, the name, right? So a lot of people around here, they get their Ecobee and it comes with one
Canadian.
sensor.
Just say it's a Canadian company.
Well, no, they're owned by Generac, I believe, right? Yeah. So they all get it, and then they start complaining about it because they got the one sensor. And sometimes I get a call and I'm like, all right, where did you put that sensor? Oh, it's by the back door. Well, that's your problem, right? You put the one sensor. And so I find a lot of people like these thermostats are just too complicated for them, right? They get it because of the name, but they don't really know how to utilize it. And I think we still need to solve that problem when it comes to these things. People are used to just setting basic schedules. That's it. But when you get into the sensors and stuff like that, they get lost.
Honestly, like at this point, mine just stays on like a consistent schedule all the time now. So I'm just using like a basic Z-Wave one, but it's kind of ugly. So I could go for a more attractive thermostat.
Yeah. And like I do like the sensors because it helps balance out the house. And I do things like when we have the fireplace on, then it goes into a fireplace mode that it doesn't take into account the sensor in the fireplace room, in that room, so that it would then balance out, work with the rest of the house, but not be thrown off by the fact that the fireplace is on, things like that. I like to do. But if you don't do that stuff and you have these sensors all over the place, you're not doing it right. And that's not easy to do yet.
Yeah, I'm just using a bunch of temperature sensors through Home Assistant to kind of work on everything. So
yep.
Averaging it out through there. I have a Zoo's temperature sensors in every room, and I balance it out and then do the thermostat that way. So I don't know. I don't need a complicated thermostat, I guess, but I'm also an outlier in that regard. So
exactly.
Yeah, I've overcomplicated my system because I have it integrated with that flare setuop with the opening and closing vent.
I need to give the flare things a shot too.
It's fun because the vents have temperature sensors inside of them. And, they can tell you what the air coming out of the vents are, each vent.
They're just so expensive.
They're really not. Like, they're not that expensive.
You don't need many.
Yeah, I think I set mine up and designed it wrong. I should have done. They didn't have them now. They do have them now. They have the square vents, like a 12 by 12 or 10 by 10.
Oh yeah.
And that's the main vents I have in the house. In the middle of the house, I can replace those now, and that'll shut one of those down and push the air out to the other places, like the far ends of the house. But right now, those work really well, but there's no dampening inside of them, so it can't even like turn them halfway off or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I do like I do like how it works and how it can potentially keep your house, like it does push air to, like, there's one room that's really cold, it'll shut off the vent in there, and it'll help the other rooms get cooler faster because of it. So it's kind of like a poor man's zone system. Anyway, new Nest thermostat looks good. A+ on the design. I do like the UI on it looks pretty nice too, with like the different like clocks and stuff you can put on it. Looks pretty good. As usual, design looks great. Good job, Google.
You did something right.
Don't kill this. Don't ruin it.
They're going to announce 6 months from now that they're getting rid of Nest products.
We don't want this anymore. Let's see. Aqara has a new product out, a new FP1E. It's a new mmWave presence sensor priced at $50. This wired sensor can detect minimal movements such as breathing, which can help you keep your lights on when you're sitting still. It's a more affordable and simplified version of this $70 FP2 model, which emits features like zone positioning, but retaining the precise mmWave motion detection capabilities. So where it operates over Zigbee, requires the Aqara hub. I looked at this and said, meh, for $20 more, I'll do the FP2 any day of the week, because that zone feature is why you get it. I mean, unless you were doing unless you wanted this one for just watching you sleep or whatever, because I think you can probably do that. Maybe you can't. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the capabilities of this one.
Yeah, or like a really small room, like a bathroom, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, even then, like, you want to know if you're in the toilet area. I guess if it's a tiny, tiny room. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I got a tiny bathroom, so it makes sense for that room, but that's about it.
Yeah, the FP1E is pretty much like a basic version compared to the FP2. It just does the basic motion presence detection, has some good range, angle coverage. It's just a general use one. If you want the fun one is the FP2.
Yeah.
Right. But the difference is FP1E is also Matter and Zigbee, I think it is, right? So I think it actually connects their hub with Zigbee and then does Matter through their hub.
What is that, the FP1?
Yeah, the FP1.
Both of them, really. Yeah.
They both no, the FP2 does not do Zigbee, so.
Yeah, and the FP2 is a Wi-Fi one.
Wi-Fi, yeah.
Yeah, you have to set it with Wi-Fi, and you have to set it with their app, and then like delete it or something, and then add it to HomeKit.
Yeah, but it's like still the more fun one. I'd go with the FP2 for a little bit more if you really want something like that.
Yeah, especially you're not really saving much more money. I'm sure once the sales go on, you'll be saving a bit more and might be worth it. But regular price, probably not.
Yeah.
But if you're outfitting a whole house, I mean, maybe, because, I mean, for example, like in our house, it'd be a difference of like $150. So I guess it depends how many you're buying as well.
Yeah. I don't know. And what capabilities you want to, this also has the like look down capabilities built into it, where it can look down, like you can mount it to the ceiling or whatever, and it could look down within.
Yeah.
I think it's the help I've, fallen detection or whatever.
Help, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I guess it's a good thing. For what it looks like, the looks of it, and like the fact that it still has the stupid USB-C cable that you have to power it with. I think that like I would probably just pay the extra $20 and get all the advanced features of the other one. I don't know. Like you said, unless you need a bunch of these for whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Cool product, though. All right, let's move on here. We've got a Meross. I'm not even sure. They also have a new mmWave presence sensor for just $36, and it works with Matter. They've launched the MS600 mmWave presence sensor for $36, compatible with the Matter standard. Uses the mmWave radar. It uses PIR and light sensors to detect small movements like breathing, as well as general movement and light levels. Operates over Wi-Fi, so you get Matter over Wi-Fi, powered again by USB-C. Great. And it's Matter compatible. There you go. Matter over Wi-Fi, TJ. It's all you.
Woo! That's exactly what I want.
Yeah, $36. I would forgive it for not having this own thing for $36. For $50? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the day they come out with these sensors battery powered.
Yeah, me too.
Because I have so many places I want to put them. I don't have an outlet in, but I am getting those Innovelli mmWave switches, which will help me out there. So
yeah, I can't wait to get those.
Yeah, September.
Yeah, I actually bought these. I might do this at some point, but I actually got these like the USB pigtails that just have like a red and black wires, so you can hook it up to whatever you want. I think I'm gonna run some wires through my ceiling here soon for all my sensors. We'll see how that goes.
So it's like a USB to 2-wire converter?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I got several of those for micro USB and USB-C, and I have a bunch of cameras and sensors around the house. And I'm like, man, I should just go ahead and just bite the bullet and run some wires in the ceiling. So I might as well just do that as I'm running all my electrical, and in 6 months regret my decision because I need to change it or something. But with a 2-wire, at least I can just change it to USB, micro USB or USB-C if I need to. So
yeah, that does sound like a better plan. I just wish there was other options these companies would come out with. I understand why they're doing the USB-C because it's small connector on a small device, and they don't have to hook up the big giant
12-volt adapter or whatever
12-volt adapter thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things that I'm sure as time goes on, they'll be able to do more battery powered ones and stuff. But it seems to use a lot of power. So
we'll have to keep an eye on these things. They're always getting better and cheaper too. Some interesting news, and also this is interesting because it comes from our friend Dave Zatz from way back. I don't think we've talked about Dave in a long time, but you guys said he may have taken a break a little bit. But he's back. He says Roku appears to be shifting its smart home camera manufacturing from Wyze to Leaderson, a company known for powering IKEA smart home products. Regulatory filings suggest these new indoor and outdoor cameras will continue to target the budget market, featuring 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, Bluetooth Low Energy for efficient pairing. Photos hint at a possible move from micro USB to USB-C, of course. And then both camera models are technologically identical, differing only in the housing and power. So kind of interesting. When Dave reports on this stuff, it usually means it's going to happen. But it's kind of interesting that they are moving away from their Wyze partnership and kind of maybe rolling their own.
What I never understood is why they don't just use the same app for their cameras in their Roku system. You think you'd want to capture the most audience possible, and they already have a really good app. And so it's weird that they didn't just like build another section inside the app that they had all their smart home stuff in, because then maybe you could like watch them on the TV and everything else as well.
Maybe that's what they're trying to do here. Yeah. I don't know. They don't make the technology, they don't make the cameras, they don't make the app. It's kind of hard to do that sometimes, but
it's just a partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe now they'll be able to kind of like directly integrate it a little bit more.
I never was a fan of that partnership with Wyze, but it looks like it didn't work out. So they're moving on to another partnership. So we'll see how that one goes.
Well, I mean, and maybe it did work out enough to where they're like, okay, we can do this. Let's roll our own camera. With this company Leaderson, who OEMs them for IKEA too. So it's not the market I am in. I know if like I go to Walmart and walk through the technology section there in Walmart, there's tons of these Roku devices in there, and they're all like rebranded Wyze devices that we all know and love. But an interesting play for them to kind of have a stake in the ground when it comes to the smart home. Just add-on products. All right. Well, speaking of adding on things, Apple Home is bringing adaptive lighting to Matter smart lights with iOS 18. Adaptive lighting adjusts the color temperature of the lights throughout the day to match the sunlight color. And now on the Matter devices, it'll enhance the capability beyond just a few select brands. Nanoleaf's Essentials Matter line, including the A19 bulb light strip, will be among the first to benefit. And their CEO, Jimmy Chu, confirmed extensive testing to ensure the seamless user experience. So this is kind of nice. I'm not sure. I don't know. This is like an interface thing. So Apple had to have programmed in this. They used to not call it. I guess they always called it adaptive lighting, but I guess moving it over to Matter support, it's going to just kind of anything that's a Matter light that's in the Apple ecosystem will be able to benefit from that. So that's kind of nice.
Does it have to be Matter devices? Can it just be any device that if it's being handled by the ecosystem? Why is it only restricted to Matter, right?
Well, if it was already built into the home stuff, right? Like HomeKit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there. But then if you have Matter devices, they didn't have those extra commands for those Matter things, but now I guess they do. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. I like adaptive lighting. Honestly, it's been one of my most favorite things that I've done to my house with the automation system. It's just nice to not worry about the brightness and the color as it goes throughout the day. It doesn't always get it right. I wish, I honestly need to spend more time with it. I wish there was a little more granularity you could do, or like schedules and stuff like that, at least for the home assistant side of things. But it's nice not really needing to ever adjust my lights. It just does it for me automatically.
So it's more than just dimming lights. It's like also the color temperature and stuff too, right?
Yeah. So like right now my lights are set at 2700 or 3000 K.
Yeah.
But earlier today they were all 5000 K.
Okay.
And so it does that automatically throughout the day. The part that I don't like, and this goes back to I probably just need to refine it a little bit, but like when it first turns on after it's been off like half the day, it like does this weird like color flicker thing where it like turns on to the color it was before, and then it changes the color and then changes the brightness, and so it's like just like a sudden flash of light. But like I said, it's probably just a refining thing I need to work on for that.
Okay, it could just be the implementation thing.
Yeah,
that's inside of, I guess you said Home Assistant that's doing it that way?
Yeah, so this is an add-on called adaptive lighting. So
it could be like how it's sending commands out to the light and how the light reacts. Like different brands react different way. There's all sorts of things that could be. I totally understand it. Like some lights you can't change the color of what they are until they're on.
Yeah, and I think that's what's happening. I don't know if that's like a Philips Hue limitation. I assume it is, but
I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying because you think with smart light, right? It's telling it what to turn on and stuff anyway, and so you think it would just like set it's like 1% brightness and then change the color, then ramp it up.
Yeah, some lights don't have 1%. Yeah, well, some lights start at 10. Yeah. And like the Wyze lighting API starts at 10%, so you get 10% up to 100. I don't know why, but it's like why couldn't they have?
Yeah. It'd still be better. It'd still be better than whatever the default brightness is, I guess. Though, wouldn't be as obvious. You know what I mean? But
it's always this trick, and that again comes down to testing. So Nanoleaf saying that they had tested it a bunch to have seamless operation. That may be something they figured out to work best with whatever Apple provides. Is a command that comes off the Matter stack, I guess. It says turn this light on at 3000 K, and it doesn't do any flickering on their lights. I don't know, but that would be ideal. It's
great though. Adaptive lighting. If you haven't used it, I highly recommend it. It's great.
Yeah, once it's set though, once you have them on, they just change. They just you don't even notice them. They just change. Yeah.
Well, and especially ours. All of our lights are pretty much motion based as well at this point, so we don't really touch a light switch unless we just want to turn the light off or something like that.
Right. All right. Well, speaking of Nanoleaf, they have a new Expo Smart display cases for a striking way to showcase collections with diffuse color-changing LED lighting. Each case is priced at a whopping $80 and individually, or you can pay $300 for a 4-pack, and they can be stacked to create larger displays with synchronized lighting effects. This is like a plastic case. It's got a nice clear door, I guess, panel on the front of it. Transparent door with a magnetic sensors that trigger subtle lighting effects when you open and close it. Cases can be arranged side by side or stacked, and you can get a single 42-watt power supply can support up to 8 cases, and a 75-watt power supply can handle up to 16. Now, you can go all the way up to 300 cases, but if you do the full setup, it's going to cost you a whopping $22,499.
I'm not that rich.
But I look at this. This is a great idea. I think they're going to be pretty successful with this because there's all sorts of like hacks and like you can cut the lights up and do it yourself type thing. This is just like it's prepackaged, it's done. You stack them up, how many ever you need. You plug the power supply in, you're done. I think they're going to be pretty successful with this. For $80, that's my labor, right?
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying too. Like $80, I feel like is relatively cheap for what this is. Mm-hmm. And this looks, obviously, I haven't touched it or anything like that. It looks like a decent product though. And everything's just built right into it. And the fact that you can stack 300 of them, that's just nuts. And so, like, I don't know. We'll probably see somebody that maxes this out at some point. Somebody that's got a bunch of shoes, or maybe a listener of the show, Adam over there. He's got a lot of shoes.
Yeah, we'll put a Patreon goal for $23,000 on there, and
yeah, let's see if we can stack 300.
We can see if we can do it. 300 of them. I don't even know how big that would be. Massive. That would be really big.
Yeah, right.
This could be great for like showcasing. They show collections. They have a picture of like shoes and that kind of thing on here. I think this would be great for that.
Yeah, this is one of those really cool ideas, and it's one of those things that as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, why has nobody done this before?
So I'm going to represent the poor people here, and this is kind of expensive.
Oh, God, come on, Gavin.
well, okay, the way I'm looking at it, what'd you say they each were? $80. $80, and that's about 150 Canadian probably.
Yeah,
so,
right.
When I'm looking at that, your 23,000 is getting closer to 50,000 Canadian just for my shoe display. You know what? I'm sticking with the $10 boxes I have, because all these are my $10 boxes. They stack, they have front doors, they do all this stuff. The only thing they don't have is the nice fancy light.
Yeah, so you need lights, Gavin.
That's the difference. Well, no, I don't need lights. I just need to know what shoes in the case, and I'm good. I don't need it lit. But, if you like that light look and you want to do all the fanciness with it, then yeah, I still think it's kind of expensive. But I'm a poor person, so.
Yeah, stop being poor, Gavin.
Stop being poor, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to buy this, but.
Yeah, I have a lot of shoes. But I wouldn't buy.
Do you have like collector shoes though?
I have some that are way worth quite a bit of money.
Oh, all right.
Well, see, $80. I mean, less than the shoes you.
Yeah, what an investment.
Right? Yeah. It's an investment, and you can show them off in style with these Nanoleaf changing color things.
Those kind of shoes, though, you wrap in plastic. You don't want to yellow. You don't put them in a case like this, right?
And when people come over to your house, you're like, "Look, you're so poor, you can't light up your shoes."
So, Gavin, you had this question earlier, but they actually have it in the specs here. It'll fit shoe sizes up to US 15, UK 14, or Europe 50.
All right, I'm covered.
All right, there you go. It's about a 15-inch wide case by about 8 or 9 inches high. A decent size. It seems pretty cool. It all runs on Wi-Fi though. 300 devices.
300 on your Wi-Fi.
So is it going to actually be 300 devices, or do they go through a hub?
No, Nanoleaf does not go through a hub. So
you'll actually have 300 new devices on your Wi-Fi just to do this lighting.
Well, if you want all of them.
It says it has a thread radio.
Oh.
And it has a proprietary 2.4 gigahertz protocol. So
they must mesh it somehow.
Yeah, it must mesh together.
You'd have to.
It also says can act as a thread border router. So that's interesting.
Especially if you want them to like sync up and everything too. Could you imagine trying to sync up 300 different lights?
It's got all sorts of stuff. It's got like syncing. It's got rhythm from Music Visualizer built in.
Yeah, they must connect somehow.
This is pretty awesome. I mean, as like,
I'm not gonna buy it, but
I don't know how the build quality is, but I think like out of the box, like $80, and you have like all of this done for you. I think it's a great price. Like like I said, that's my labor, right? Like to do all that work.
Yeah,
that's a great price.
I'm not knocking the idea. It's just when you have a shoe collection, it's gonna get expensive.
Gavin just doesn't have any money. We understand, Gavin.
Because I put them all in my shoes.
Do you hide your money in your shoes? I think you should put it in your bank or something.
I'd have to sacrifice a few pairs of shoes to get a few of the cases.
Yeah.
No, this is for something you want to put in your living room or next to your streaming gaming PC.
Yeah. I mean, it does look like it only comes in one white color, like that ABS plastic white box type thing. Like I said, I don't know how good the build quality is on it, but it does look like it's only indoor rated, so don't try to put them outside.
Damn it. I was going to put my outside
I know, right?
Christmas decorations.
Put some tools in there. Put them in my
new pack out.
Yeah, pack out.
My little pack out.
Yeah, like I think for the use case, I think it's a pretty good idea. So good on you, Nanoleaf. I like it. And if anybody wants to sponsor $23,000, we'll buy 300 of them. I don't know where I'd put them, actually, now that I say that. I don't think I could How would you do that?
Just send me a couple.
Like we'll just
50.
We'll just like set them up outside somewhere and like take it down.
I'll take a smaller number, like 50 or so. I'm good.
It's too good. I'm gonna have to figure out how big that is, and then like arrange a 300 cases and see how big that would be. That's a lot of cases. That would be a very large lighting effect. Well, we've got some bad news after all that good news. Disney is raising prices for Hulu Plus. Disney is raising prices for Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, all starting October 17th. The price hikes come alongside the introduction of new curated playlists from Disney Plus aimed at enhancing your experience and, I don't know, costing more, I guess. Blah, 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 blah. Disney Plus with ads, $7.99. It's going to $9.99 a month. You get $10 a month. You get Disney Plus and ads. No ads. It's going from $13.99 to $16 a month. Hulu, same thing, except no ads, is going from $17.99 to $18.99, just $1, I guess. Hulu Plus with live TV is going from $76.99 to $82.99 with no ads, all the way up to $95.99. And ESPN, here we go, ESPN Plus, $10.99 to $11.99, $1 more for that. So they're all raising prices on us. We're having some more enshittification happening. We get ads, we get price rises. This playlist feature doesn't even look interesting in it. Like, why they're like, hey, we're making playlists. That doesn't justify you raising the price that much.
Exactly. And this is a norm thing now.
Yeah.
Like, we can expect every year prices to go up 2-3 times that year. And any new subscription service, always look at it as the price is going to go up. Like, that's just the nature of things now. So you may say, oh, it's only $10.99 now. Just factor in next year, maybe $15.99, right? They got to make their money somehow.
Yeah. Everything costs more every year. You know, and media is no different. These companies invested a lot of money up front and been kind of like taking it as a loss to stream this stuff out and create the content at the same time. Some companies didn't, like Sony. I mean, they're living high on life right now because they just get to sell their stuff over to these streaming companies, and you know they just get to make deals with them and be a traditional media company. But every one of these companies, Disney, Netflix, they're all kind of suffering right now too. Like it's very making the content very money intensive, I guess, and then streaming it out and keeping customers every month is too. I don't know. Like, I guess there'll be a point. It's still not bad. Like Disney going to $16 for no ads. I don't know. I still think we'd keep it there. We still watch a ton of content on Disney Plus, more than I think anything right now. Apple TV, of course, rumors that they're going to have ads coming in one of these days, but I still watch personally a lot of content on there. They still have a lot of good shows that pop up from here and there. Hulu, I've never actually used. I think I used it once or twice early on, but I've not really watched anything on it. So that went away. But I don't know. Disney Plus, Netflix, they seem to be kind of like on heavy rotation here. I think up to a point, whatever they charge, we'll probably end up paying for it. Or just find the stuff that falls off the back of the truck too. I mean, at some point, that's what everybody's going to go back to, is just finding the stuff that falls off the back of the truck, right?
Well, it's a good thing you had that flood. I'm sure you got some content that way.
Content just floated right up to the house.
That's crazy.
Picked up the box and put it right in.
Come right in.
Yeah. All right. Well, all the links and topics discussed tonight can be found over at our show notes at HomeTech.fm/493. All right, we got a message, or a couple messages here from John. He's interested in us helping him spend some money. He says, "Hi guys, John wrote a while back asking what he should do, and I think we said, hey, you should do Home Assistant. But he says, I'm finally going to give Home Assistant a try by getting the Home Assistant Green. What else should I buy to get started?" He said, "Remember you suggest a different approach, but I just wanted to experiment using the easiest plug and play solution." He also had a follow up here to his Home Assistant Green purchase. He said, "Well, I still need my SmartThings hub and my Aqara hub for the blinds and other things that I have." I'm not too sure about the answer on that. But you know, if you're buying new stuff, let's get started. What are we gonna get? What are we gonna get? You need some cameras. I think you need an audio system.
Hold on.
I would say Sonos, but we got that other, the Weem brand, or
Vessel, obviously. Come on.
Vessel, we'll get Vessel. You got all sorts of stuff we can get you. What do you want?
He wants to give Home Assistant a try. So a try. And he's talking about the Home Assistant Green, and that's good. The Green, I believe, is the entry level one. If you don't have many devices, you just want to give it a shot, give it the Green. I'm more of the thought, though, that if you just want to give Home Assistant a try and you have like an old laptop or something sitting around, just load it up on there and play with it and see if it's something you want to invest time in before you start diving into buying more hardware for it. You're going to have to buy antennas. Like if you got Z-Wave devices, you're going to have to buy the Z-Wave antenna. If you got Zigbee, same thing, or a Matter or whatever. But if you just want to play with it, load it on an old hardware and just play with it and get used to it and see if it's something you like, because if you don't like it, you just wipe the hard drive and you move on, right? You didn't buy anything at that point, right? And I know this goes against everything I believe in, trying to make you spend money, but I guess I'm helping you save money right now. But if you were like, this is a hard question for me because it depends on how big of a system you want to make it, right? I personally run mine in a VM on my Unraid server, and that allows me a lot of flexibility, a lot of expandability. I mean, over time, I've had to bump up the amount of disk storage on it for the databases and stuff, but I also have a few hundred devices on there. So, and I want them running quick, and it does it. I don't know how many devices you can run on a Green.
That's why I was just trying to see if I could look up, because where do you top out?
And I think the yellow doesn't come with a Pi. You have to buy the Pi for that, so you can kind of bump up the Pi specs, but you're still kind of limited. Like, I guess you use an SD card, you can upgrade that if you ever had to. But if you're just playing around with it, load it on an old laptop, play around with it, and get used to it. In terms of your questions with SmartThings hubs and Aqara, you might have to keep the Aqara one because it depends on how you have things connected to it. But certain core devices need the hub anyway. I think the hub then can connect into Home Assistant. I think it depends on which hub you have and stuff like that. And same with SmartThings. I think there's a bridge tool into Home Assistant as well that you can use to bring devices over. So you can use your hubs as like your antennas, your Zigbee and your Z-Wave, and just have the devices exposed to Home Assistant. And then on Home Assistant itself, you can then do all your automations and all your playing and everything like that. And if you really like it, eventually you can move your devices over and start spending money.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Definitely just get an old computer if you have one and spin it up that way. That's how I got started in mine, and now I have mine on like an actual separate micro PC. But that's only because I got that for free as well. So just run it on whatever you have right now, throw it up in a virtual machine or anything else, and just play with it and see if you actually want to invest money and time into it, because Home Assistant is a time sink. It's not so much about the money, but it is a time sink.
And so with the Green, you don't get the radios, right? It just has...
Yeah, I think it's just the computer and the case.
So yeah, you've got to get the ZBD1 thing that they have.
If you need Zigbee and Z-Wave and Matter.
Right. Which, I mean, it's $100. It's not terrible. It's a little small computer for $100 is what they're giving you, right? Just kind of a turnkey package, and you still have to get the radio thing. So that's what gets me. Like, if I was just wanting to test it out, I would definitely just grab a computer that I had laying around, or I mean, even if you don't, maybe this is the way to go, because it's about the cost of a Raspberry Pi when you get a case and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that is the way to go.
If you're just playing with it to get a full setup, it's going to cost you a few $100.
Yeah.
At that point, you really want to make sure that it's what you want to do. So just play with it on a laptop first, get used to it, and if it's something you really want to go towards, because it's not for everybody, then you can spend some money and get some good hardware.
Yeah. Grab a laptop, run it in a Docker, right? Run it in the Docker, see how it works. And then you could probably transfer your configuration and all your automations over. Do you think you could do that? Yeah. All right.
Oh, no, you could definitely do that. Like if you want to upgrade later on and move it somewhere else, you could do export of all the settings, or do a backup and then do a restore in the new system, and everything transfers over pretty well.
Yeah.
And you just move the antennas over, do whatever you want. But yeah, there's a way to test it for cheap or free.
There you go. Makes sense. That would be my recommendation. Use the hubs you have, like Gavin said. Play around with the Home Assistant environment. If you discover you like it, move to that. If not, you didn't waste any money on a Home Assistant Green, and I guess that's it. You wouldn't need the ZBD1 yet. Because you're going to want something more powerful. You're going to get something more powerful later on. And it's going to be better than this. So.
We got to run AI on this later.
Yeah. I mean, this has got the RK3566 system on chip, which is it's Rock chip. So it's like a competitor to the Raspberry Pi people. Like they would make a clone ARM A55. It's a good chip, but you're just buying a Raspberry Pi at this point. $100, not a bad deal, I guess. We do have a pick of the week here, and moving into kind of our lawn tech. Thanks, Gavin. We've got Aquaflower. It's a smart watering system. Runs on a ESP home configuration. It looks like it directly integrates with Home Assistant as well. This is like a little product somebody's put together. What do you say? Will water up to 6 zones of plants and everything, and it's just a little box there that waters your flowers when it needs to.
This was actually sent to us by TJ, so I'll let him, touch on it first.
I've never heard of this TJ guy. I found this online. So I think it was one of the Home Assistant groups. The reason this looks appealing to me is, so we've talked about the smart gardening thing that I've been doing a little bit now. But I'm very rudimentary right now. We just have a Zigbee hose timer basically set up, and that just turns on all the zones because I only have one of them. I looked into getting an irrigation system installed, and I don't know if you guys ever looked into that, but that's expensive.
Yeah, expensive. Yeah.
So I could just do this, run a hose to it, and then I have 6 zones. And $200 is not a bad price for this. So I'm excited. I might be getting one. So whenever I get one, I'll hook it up and we'll see how it goes. But this is really cool. It's one of those in-between products, right? Because there's all kinds of irrigation controllers out there, and then you have the hose timers and stuff like that, but you don't have anything that sets up multiple zones without going full into an irrigation system.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I've never seen anything like that. This is the first time I've seen something like that.
Is this... It says attach the sprinkler attachments. Is that a proprietary thing that they've made, or is it?
No, standard irrigation stuff, it looks like.
Yeah, so basically it takes a regular hose connected into it, and then a regular drip line irrigation outside. So that's what those little 6 little nipples looking things are. Yeah. Those are drip line irrigation connectors.
Oh, okay, I see now. Okay, it's very dark in the photo that they have. I didn't see that.
Not the best photo, unfortunately.
That makes, I know. I could have done a little bit better, but yeah, it's all right.
But yeah, that's so you hook up the 6 hoses to that front part there, and then they just act as regular zones then. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to get it in this year or not because we're kind of ending the season. But this will make it nice because then I can control my 4 or 5 different raised garden beds with just this one little box.
Yeah.
And right now I'm doing that, but I'm literally just watering them all the same, and all plants don't need the same amount of water, so I'm wasting a lot of water.
Right. This reminds me of those I think Ratio and a couple other have those controllable hose timer things, but this is kind of like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm using right now.
You get 6 zones out. And I don't remember what those Ratio hose timers cost, but
yeah, they're expensive. I mean, even the off-brand Zigbee one I'm using is $30 to $50 each. So if you buy 6 of them, I mean, it's $300.
Yeah. Ratio smart hose timers, $100. So yeah,
so that's $600. Yeah.
This is closer to their zone, what would you call it? The irrigation box, the controllers. Yeah. They're a little closer to that because when you start getting into zones and stuff, I mean, it's just the output that's a little different. But, in terms of functionality and zone management and stuff, it's better than that. But I like this device. I mean, it's an ESP. I've seen other people roll their own in the Home Assistant forums that basically use an ESP32 and flick on and off valves and control their irrigation system. So this is a great device. I would have bought one of these actually for my sister because we were looking for something like this, but it requires Home Assistant.
Yeah.
So at that point, she doesn't have all that. If it had a little web interface that just gave basic functionality, maybe some simple timers or something like that she can use it independently, that would be great. They could probably add something like that, hopefully. Then I don't know how much space is on the ESP32 to host something like that, right?
I mean, it's not much, but companies do it. Our friends over there at Connected do have web pages built in, but I mean, it's a lot more complicated. I think what they were doing here is just the ESP. Yeah, it's just an ESP home device. So they're just using ESP home.
So all the programming's done for them pretty much.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no, it's a really cool device. It's it's ESP Home, so that's Home Assistant right there.
Yep.
Definitely a good idea.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. I like it. And if you need something bigger, I got you covered. You can get the Farm Bot, and this is like a cross between what TJ needs and what Gavin likes. So if now picture 3D printing, and then picture a garden. That's what this is. Like, it's 3D printing a garden for you. This thing is big. It's like a aluminum railing system, and it's got everything on it to, like, it'll go down, it'll dig the hole, it'll plant the seed, it'll go around and water everything, it'll pull your carrots out and stack them in a bushel. This thing is wild, and they've got all sorts of videos on what you can do. A little more expensive than what $199, but
how much is a little bit more expensive?
Well, they have two of them. They have two types, so it just depends on what you want. And this is on par with your.
Ooh, a lot more expensive.
This is on par with your 3D printing life. So they have a Genesis that's going to be $2,800 for that one, and then I think there was another version.
The Genesis XL.
The XL, which I think is what they were using for
43.
Yeah, that's the big one for like schools and that kind of thing. So yeah, $4,300. And then you can buy all the parts and pieces and everything, put one together yourself, I guess.
It's really cool. You can have a flower bed with your fruits and vegetables, and it will just maintain them for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's very practical for like a regular person, but I think it's cool for like learning, or they probably have some IP built into this that they'll probably sell at some point for.
No. It's 100% open source. Like, even
is it?
Yeah, you can 3D print. You can go on CAD and have a metal machine shop make all this stuff for you, all the metal and aluminum parts. Yeah, 100% open source.
Nice. We like open source.
Heck yeah.
They're making their money by selling it to, like, education and universities and that kind of stuff, because it's kind of cool. Like, you can plant a garden. I'm not gonna lie, the software looks pretty cool. Or you could like get a top view of your garden, and you just kind of like plant plants into it, and it goes around and waters. And they've got some really cool videos, and they've done a really good job setting this up. So and they're all $200
It also waters. It also waters the plants. It basically does end-to-end growing of that plant.
What else could you want?
Exactly.
Yeah, they've got some kind of head assembly where it goes and changes whatever head it needs to change out, and it'll spray pesticides on each individual plant if that's what you want, or fertilizer. Hey, they've done a great job. There's all sorts of attachments on this. If you think your Prusa has attachments, this thing, I mean, there's like
this
lights.
Is really cool.
Yeah.
and it looks like the size of the flower bed. It's almost like it's like the width is one thing, but it puts rails down the side, so you can have it as long as you want.
As long as you want, yeah.
Yeah, and it can run the whole thing like perfectly fine. That's pretty cool.
All right. Well, if you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, or great ideas for the show, give us a shout. Email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right, we got some Home Assistant news real quick, and some project updates. But first up, Gavin, you mentioned this earlier, but Home Assistant is, quote, streamlining the Home Assistant Yellow lineup. Basically, I think before they were shipping with a Compute Module 4, Raspberry Pi Compute Module 4, and now they're not going to. So you still, like, after you get it, you're still having to go out and buy that Compute Module 4. So it's going to cost a little bit more after the fact.
Boo.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So it's going to be similar to the green, but probably just a bit better board. I think the yellow came with a few antennas. I think it did just come with Zigbee or something like that.
They got a Zigbee and Thread and PoE, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, it makes sense. I mean, I see what they're doing. I wish they would just have one device. I don't see the need for green and yellow at this point. Just have one device.
I don't know why they didn't do the yellow and have it built in with like the same Rockwell thing, and just have the difference being that one has radios built in, one doesn't. There you go.
Give me all the radios.
One has PoE, one doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It's all right. It's their stuff. I understand if they don't, like, that's probably was problematic in the past of sourcing that Compute Module 4. I don't think they're probably making plenty of them now, but
yeah,
those companies have their own distribution means, and you can pick those things up anywhere. So that's probably what they're thinking. It's like, you can buy these cheaper than we can buy them, so buy your CM4 somewhere else. Let's see. then we've got Home Assistant 20. Wow, does this say 2024.8? Beautiful Badges has been released. Has 11 new integrations and 7 existing ones. Moves 7 existing ones to the UI, along with significant improvements to the platform. Let's see. In this is the one with the revamped dashboards, which are fully configurable and can display icons, names, and states. So all sorts of nice little updates keep coming every single month to Home Assistant.
Yeah, they've been on a tear lately. This one, they introduced badges, like just some of the key features. You can read the article for everything, but yeah, they introduced badges, which are little things that will sit at the top of your pages on your dashboards. I personally use chips still from the Mushroom integration, but the badges are getting a lot of love. They introduced integration with local LLMs like Olama for, having
nice,
and it does look like there may be some limits though, because they say, don't send too many devices to it. So there's some limits when you're doing local, probably the power.
It's the memory. Required. It's definitely 100% the memory, whatever you got memory on your video card, which is typically not as much as it needs. Olama can go up to like, I want to say like 24, what is it? 24 gigabytes or something. I don't know. They have some pretty big models.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. So, yeah, people asking for it, they gave it to you, but use it sparingly. They made big updates to the ZHA. A lot of it's coding stuff in the background, so I'm just warning you, keep an eye on that, because who knows what bugs you may run into. They seem to have made some significant changes with that. And the one nice thing is they've moved more of their YAML stuff into the UI. So they've introduced a lot of more helpers and stuff like that. So you don't have to create them in YAML anymore. You can do it all through the UI, and it's pretty nice. And that's, over time, that's what they're working towards. Moving more out of YAML and into the UI itself. They're even showing like integrations. There are certain integrations that you can only enable through YAML, right? Through the configuration, right? Well, now they actually show them on the dashboard and they mark them as configured through YAML or whatever, right? So that is their one more step to help us identify what needs to be converted. And, the developers will work on that and converting things over. So like I said, I've always said this, they're working on everything that annoys us. It just takes time. It's a process and they have so much to do, but they're moving so fast every month.
Yeah. I'm looking through. I always like to look at what new integrations they've dropped on here. There's a couple of things here. You can integrate your Iron OS powered soldering iron now with Home Assistant. If you ever needed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's interesting some players here. Let's see what else, what got kicked off of the noteworthy integrations. HomeKit Bridge integration now supports entire entities representing doorbells and motion sensors. So there's tons of improvements that come from the community as well. So it's really cool to see. The UE Smart Radio has been removed. The service has been discontinued. So there you go. Farewell. And I did a quick Google search. The model that they're recommending, the Llama 3.1 8B, it requires at least 16 gigabytes of RAM. So, and the 70B would benefit from 32 gigabytes. That's just for the model to load. So that's why they're saying only send 25 entities over to it to monitor, because just for the model to fire up and load, it takes a 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's a lot. So, this week on project updates, Gavin, you've got some notes here. What have you been up to?
Well, for those that follow me on Mastodon, at HomeTech.social, selfless plug there. But, you've seen me posting some pictures I've been playing with HueForge lately on my 3D printer. So HueForge those prints are kind of like textured images. Somebody would take them, they make an image, they add colors, and it becomes like texture. And it's really cool what's coming out of there. So I've been playing around with that and creating some of my own. It's an actual application you can purchase and import any picture you want, and then you start layering the colors and doing all that stuff. And it's, you print out and spits out a nice little print. So I've been playing with them. I actually just had one that just finished now. So that's really cool. Just update on my old 3D printer. I think I let you know that the wife figured out I had two now.
Yep, we found out. Yep, she found out.
Yeah, once she found out, the pressure was on. I have a buyer. What? You know, yeah.
Is it you?
And no, yeah. I'm selling it to my sister. Yeah. No, my coworker at work. So he's interested. Nice. I'm giving it to him for a good deal, and he's gonna have to spend a lot of time getting to know this stuff, but he was very interested in it after seeing all the fun I'm having. The problem is the fun I'm having is on an MK4. He's getting an older model, which is not going to have as much fun, but he'll learn. I had to learn too. So yeah, that printer will be gone. So I'm going to print a bunch of stuff on it before it leaves. And then one other thing I was playing around with, and I know TJ played around with this at one point, but room presence based on devices. Mm-hmm. So I've been watching a few videos lately, and I thought it was a cool idea. And the one I was looking at, I haven't been able to get working yet. I want to look at the MQTT integration and stuff like that. But the one I've been looking at, it actually, it would load like on your existing ESP32 devices. If you had them with ESP Home, this is just something that adds on to that. So you can utilize existing devices and have this also running on that instead of adding another ESP32 into the room. So I'm playing around with some of that, but the end goal is, when you're in a room, in certain rooms and you open up your dashboard on your phone, it will open up to the room you're in first, and then you can go from there. And I would like that, because every time I open up, I have to go to another room or blah, 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 right? So it would be nice if it just opens up in the room you're in, with the TV controls or whatever, just playing around with that. It's a fun little project. And I'm going to take some time with that. And that's pretty much it.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't really do much with it. I need to go over mine again. I bought all the sensors and everything, but got caught up in other projects. It's a Seth project for me.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'll get to it eventually.
Started it and never ends. It never finishes.
It's too good.
We just took it out of the box.
Yeah, took it out of the box, looked at it, put the box in the shelf. Forgot about it for another year.
No, threw away the box.
Threw away the box. Yeah,
threw the contents into another bin.
Immediately throw away the box. Yeah. I've been actually, before the rainstorm slowed everything down. It's actually playing Integrator over the weekend. I had an old client call me up and was like, "Hey, can you swap out a TV for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've kind of been like keeping an eye on this house for 10 years now." So it's like, "Yeah, I'll come over and help out." That was supposed to be set up for like Wednesday or Thursday. He called me the day before and he's like, "Hey, what's this blinky light mean?" And turns out it was his video distribution system was blinking. I was like, "Oh, that shouldn't happen." It's an old Cisco switch, SG300, if that tells you anything. I was like, "That's not good. Just wait for it. Maybe it'll come back online." Well, nothing came back online. And then he mentioned, "Oh yeah, there was a lightning strike nearby." Okay, well, I'll come take a look tomorrow and see if we can get anything back up and going. And when I got there, his house was very, 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 very warm, which is not normal. So after everything said and done, his entire AV system, just about all of his networking gear, and 2 of his 5-ton air conditioners got taken out. So it was a very large insurance claim, I guess, that had gone in. And I was there earlier this week and looked outside the window, and there's a dead palm tree right next to his pool cage. So the lightning hit right there and knocked out so much stuff at his house. It was actually incredible. But I was there kind of pulling things apart, putting a new video distribution system, new network system in. Kind of rusty, guys. Not gonna lie, I'm not very fast at this stuff anymore. I wasn't fast when I was doing it, but like even now, I'm like, wow, I didn't get anything done today.
Like, why am I doing this now?
Yeah.
Wish you weren't in any attics,
I actually hired some of one of the guy who was one of my like a lead tech ended up when the company we were with kind of like went away. He started his own company and has been doing that. So I hired him to come back and help, and he brought his partner out, and like with 3 guys, I mean, we could just blow through a bunch of stuff. And it's a big house, so instead of like running upstairs, making an adjustment on the rack, running downstairs to see if that changed anything, you have one other person looking at it in the other room who can talk to you on the cell phone and say, yes, that works, or tone a wire. Oh man, it's all the difference in the world. So we were able to blow through so much and get everything done the other day. And he's almost back up and going. At least he has air conditioning now, because the first couple of days was rough. I was like 87 degrees in his house and just pouring sweat. No fun. And then it rained and I couldn't go back out there for a bit. So
you had a lot of disasters to deal with. Yeah.
A lot of disasters. Yeah. TJ, what have you been up to?
Nothing. I worked, I was doing a warehouse project, so I've been working third shift this week. And so Sunday I went in at midnight, worked till 8 o'clock. And then Tuesday I went in 4 to 8, and I worked 7 to 1 o'clock again. So I have not had a good week. I've just been trying to catch up on sleep. Today is the first full day of sleep I've had since I started that project. So
night shift. Yeah.
Now it's done, hopefully, as long as they never contact me back. we were installing a bunch of access points for an IT company. One of their clients has a warehouse, and they don't do their own wiring, so we do all the wiring for them. And so we installed a bunch of access points, drop down, 13, 15 feet depending on the area, on poles. I had other people on the scissor lift because I don't know about you guys, but I hate heights. And I don't mind like working on a scissor lift, but like running wires through like the warehouse on like a scissor lift and stuff, I'm good. I don't want to do that.
No, I've done it once and I don't want to do it ever again. Like it's the worst. You get up there, you wire a little bit, you have to go down, run it over a little bit, back up. Like it's monotonous and boring.
Yeah, not my thing. So luckily that part is done, and but that's the only thing I've had time for this past week. So no fun projects for me.
Oh.
Besides trying to get my Sonos to work again. Stupid Sonos.
Use their app. It'll help you trouble.
Put everything on Wi-Fi, I'm told. I still haven't done that. I might do that too. I do have one other project, and it might actually get it done tonight. I was going to swap. Remember I said I was going to swap out I was going to swap out the video cards and move stuff around. And it turns out, to install this thing in this Dell thing, I not only did I need the 2 power supplies, I needed to have a special cable that did not come with the video cord.
Gosh.
It's for this special power cable that goes from the riser card to the thing. And I got that, and the server came on, and I forgot to plug in the Unraid USB thing back in the right spot. So it doesn't boot yet, but as soon as we're off, I'm going to go undo that and then hopefully turn it back on, listen to the fans whirl for a bit, and then hopefully it boots back up. So yay. Nice. My server will be back. Some of my home automations will work again.
Wow.
I've been off for like 3 weeks.
Maybe our Mastodon server will get an update.
That actually might come too. I did. Yeah.
Ooh,
we'll see.
what?
We'll see. I got stuff going on. There's stuff going on. There's a lot of testing. I don't want to lose anybody's data. So I got,
sick.
With great power comes great responsibility. I don't want to lose anything. So
just wing it.
Yeah. Well,
it's just the cloud.
New server. We're starting over, guys. move your accounts over here. I'm not doing it. Yeah, that's probably how it would go. No, Mastodon is actually pretty complicated once you get out of like one user on one server. And, I want to do it right. And I don't want to lose anybody's stuff, and I don't want to break anything in the process. So it's just going to, I'm going to do it. I'm going to test, make sure it works, and then switch everybody over. Hopefully nobody will notice. Gavin might notice, but that's about it.
Whenever I notice, I complain.
It's a nice little community we have over there, HomeTech.social. If you are interested, go and sign up and put in there, I heart Gavin. Say something nice about Gavin. He'll let you in. He's the gatekeeper. He's the bouncer.
He's the only one that does it. So
I just approved a few people just now.
I just saw some come through, and I'm like, I bet Gavin's on that. So as long as they said I love Gavin, they're in. I think that's going to wrap everything up here, but we do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about our Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support and learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out on the show. And guess what? This week we do have a new patron at $5 level, Jason Tucker. Thank you so much, Jason. Do appreciate it. Your $5 might go to helping upgrade a Mastodon server for someone on the chat here tonight.
We might give you a Matter certification. You matter.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get in trouble if we call it that. But yeah. Jason, you matter. Thank you so much.
It's open source, isn't it?
We do. That's not what it means, though.
We're not commercializing it. Who knows?
Oh, man. Any pledge over $5 a month does get you a shout out on the show, like here for Jason, but every single pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, the Hub, where you can join in and look at tool chests and complain about the color of Milwaukee tool chests being red. So they suck that they're red. I do like the pack outs. I don't know why Robert likes the DeWalt thing so much. I don't see the appeal in that, but after having to lug around all my tools for the last couple of days, every tool in my house, and like drag them out in the pack outs, I appreciate the pack out thing again. Otherwise it takes up a lot of space. Anyway, there's all sorts of stuff we're talking about in there. Tools, we're talking about Google Nest thermostats, we're talking about Richard hanging a TV. It didn't look very good. I don't know why he did it, but he hung a TV.
It's very unlike Richard. I think we need to get him to the doctor.
Very unlike Richard. I think he just wanted a TV up fast, and that's what he got. A TV up, went up fast. There you go.
It's a hang and bang, as we call it.
Yeah, it's exactly. Oh man, if I didn't already have a show title in mind, Richard's hang and bang would definitely be the show title tonight. We'd have the pick of the week. All right. If you want to help out but can't support financially, totally understand. We just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in a podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up another week here on HomeTech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Till next time.
Take care.